How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Stoppage Stooges podcast. It's yours truly, Andrew, with Christian, Jacob, and Ricardo. Boys, we got a mega episode today. We got Champions League semifinals starting next week. We've got a ton of news stories pertaining to our clubs and rival clubs all around the leagues of Europe. We're going to talk Liverpool. We're going to talk that fraud Xavi. We're going to talk even some international play. Serginho Dest, long-term out for the USA with a knee injury. But first, we're going to start Champions League because, boys, we got two semifinals beginning next week. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, and Paris Saint-Germain. But first, let's start with Ricardo and I's beloved Real Madrid. Ricardo, we're facing what should be an inferior team compared to the team we just faced. But Real Madrid will never make it easy, won't they?
No.
And I mean, that's how I'm feeling with this matchup.
I mean, obviously Real Madrid is the favorite. I mean, they've been here and done it before. But I still don't understand how Bayern has gotten this far. I mean, considering, they went through Arsenal and got a result away, but I mean, this just to me is it's going to be closer than people think. I feel I'm like, just based off my aggregate score, which I have at 3-2. I think it's going to be 1-1 at Munich because that's the first leg. The second leg in Madrid, I think it's going to be 2-1. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Rodrigo's going to score the decisive goal, and he's my X factor, I guess, because he loves a big moment. He loves the big goal, the big stage. So, I mean, I think Real Madrid's ultimately to lose, but Bayern's definitely not a pushover. I mean, it speaks volumes considering they've completely lost the Bundesliga and yet they're still fighting and still competing in the Champions League. So it won't be easy, but I think Real gets through in the end of it.
I'm in the same boat. And to me, Bayern having the first leg at home puts a lot of pressure on them on Tuesday. They have to win by, to me, at least 2 goals. Because, I think having the second leg at home is such an advantage in these late stages of the tournament. Because if you get a positive result at home, or if you get a positive result away from home, you can lean on your crowd. You can lean on everything at home where you're more comfortable. So to me, Real Madrid having the second leg at home is a massive advantage for them. And I'm expecting more goals than Ricardo. I have 5-3 Real Madrid. I just think that when you look at Eric Dyer and Upamecano, maybe Kim Min-jae, you have Matthias de Ligt as well. It's just not – they don't have a clear top 2 center backs pairing. I think that lack of cohesion back there is going to make things very difficult against Vinicius and Rodrigo. And don't remember that Jude Bellingham's also going to be making late runs into the box. So I think Harry Kane will make an impact, but not enough to me to go through. So I have 5-3, and my X factor is Camavinga. We talked about it before starting the show. He may play as a left back. I don't know what I said that's so funny, but
I'm crying.
It's Camavinga.
It's because Andrew loves Camavinga.
Did I say something wrong here? But
No.
Whether he plays as a left back or in the midfield, I think he's going to put in a really good shift. It's going to be interesting to see how Carlo navigates this injury problem at left back. Do you play a natural left back? Do you move Nacho to left back? It's going to be interesting to see how he navigates, especially in Germany, because maybe Ferland Mendy's back for the second leg. But certainly for Tuesday, I expect, any of those 3 possibilities. But Camavinga has done incredibly well, as you guys have talked about all season. I think he continues that in this tie and plays a major role in Real Madrid going back to the final.
Christian, Camavinga is the soccer equivalent of Giancarlo Stanton to me. He's just so special to me. It has a place in my heart. It's the three pillars of my sports fandom: Giancarlo Stanton, Eduardo Camavinga, and João Pedro. Right now, the three pillars of my sports fandom. So Camavinga means the world to me, and I really appreciate you naming him an X Factor.
My pleasure.
Jacob, please go on. You're not going to take my heart like Christian just did. But
how could I?
But
yeah. So I agree with everything of what you guys have been saying. That I think this is a really interesting matchup, and I don't think that Bayern are pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they've sort of found their form very late in the season, better late than never, and it's paid off because they're in the semifinal of the Champions League. I kind of lean towards Ricardo. I honestly think that the first leg could be a 0-0 draw. I really do. I know that, and I think it's because it's like we're all like, oh, goals, and then it's like, both teams are a little off. They, Bayern may want to play for a draw almost, or more so, they just don't want to lose. And I honestly think that the first leg could be a 0-0 draw in Munich. It is in Munich, correct?
Yeah.
And I think the second leg, I think Real will win about 2-0, 2-1, maybe 1. Low scoring game. I know Christian thinks we're gonna get a lot of goals. I don't. I feel like because of the fact that these games are gonna be so tight, we're not gonna get a lot of goals as a result of it. My X factor is Vinicius. He's a tremendous player. Like Rodrigo, as Ricardo was saying, he does shine in the big moments, and I think he'll find a way to get at least a goal or an assist across two legs and lead Real into the final.
Yeah, for me, I'm going Real, but I'm gonna go 4-3 on this one. I think it's gonna be very tight. I could see, I think in Munich it's gonna be the lower scoring leg. I could easily see a 1-1 draw at Munich, and then 3-2 at the Bernabeu for the second leg. X Factor. Oh, Ricardo. I'm about to steal Ricardo's heart right now. Antonio Rudiger. Jacob's heart too.
I mean, I cried when he left Chelsea. I almost did. I wanted to cry.
Here's the best part. He's gonna be the Harry Kane stopper.
Yeah, of course he will.
Yeah. He's gonna stop that British fraud. Stop him in his tracks. But yeah, no, I think Rudiger's gonna. He really impressed me against Man City, really did, and it's really just an excuse for me not to go Brahim Diaz again, who also has my heart, but not quite the Camavinga level. But yeah, 4-3 Real, and they'll advance to the finals. We all agree to take on the winner of Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain. PSG, Ricardo's favorite team in the world.
Yeah.
Dortmund, yes.
I am a Dortmund fan now.
But God. even though you hate them, are you gonna really pick Dortmund over them?
No, in no universe would I ever do that. I know they played them tough in the group stages, but I'm sorry, it's gonna be the Mbappe show. It wasn't the second leg against Barcelona, which I'm still grateful for, and hopefully we see that next season. But that's for another day. I think, I mean, the first it's so interesting because I think the first leg would be a 2-2 draw because that's at Dortmund. Right?
That's literally what I was gonna say.
But I mean, it's just because the way Dortmund played against Atleti at home was so back and forth, and
they broke them.
Sports, yeah, they
basically destroyed Simeone ball.
Somehow, yeah.
And they did. I mean,
Simeone ball was already kind of broken going into that game, but yeah, they broke them even more. They killed them. But I think that game could be a draw in the second leg in Paris. I think it's going to go back to. I think it'll be a 3-1. That's when Mbappe will shine even brighter at home. My X factor, though, I do have Dembele, which is interesting because I didn't pick him last time around, but that's only because I had Barcelona going through. But this time around, I think he will also be a huge part of it. And if he's not scoring, he's definitely going to be assisting of quite a few goals. I mean, he's just also a former Dortmund player, right? Yeah, he used to play there. So that'll be a cool storyline to watch. So yeah, he's my X factor. PSG advance. What did I say? 5-3 on aggregate.
It's a Dembele revenge tour.
It really is.
Christian, what do you think?
To me, it's again, I'm going with the same theory I went with in the last one. I think having the second leg, especially for the team that is going to be favored, makes a huge difference. Dortmund, if they had the second leg, look what it did against Madrid. I mean, they were so tough, knowing what they had to do in order to advance. And they scored 2 goals in an early period of that game. And then obviously they came back after what looked like enough for Madrid to go through. They came back and scored. And Marcel Sabitzer was unbelievable in that match. But I just think PSG is, again, they're playing really well at this stage of the season. They're not focused on the league. And what does make this very interesting is Dortmund is fighting for places in Germany. They have a huge match against Leipzig, I believe, tomorrow. So they have things to be worried about, still securing, I think, top 5, which will get them into the Champions League next year, versus PSG, who has Liga wrapped up. So less things to focus about, better team, second leg at home. I think PSG is going to go through 4-2 on aggregate. And to me, this is a guy that goes really under the radar, and he shined in the quarterfinal. Vitinha.
Damn it.
Goals. Sorry, Andrew, but that second goal, the one where he scored in the second leg to equalize the tie, was unbelievable. Just the strike, the power, I mean, the precisions to get it into the top. I believe it was the bottom left corner. He doesn't get enough respect for what he does for the team because there was a lot of changing in the midfield from leg 1 to leg 2, but he was in there for both. And I thought was one of the key deciding factors in why PSG went through. So I think he's a very underrated midfielder, and I expect him to have 2 really good ties against Dortmund. And I have PSG going 4-2 to the final.
You stole my X factor, Vitinha.
Great
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this about Vitinha. This past month he's been in amazing form. This last month, and even in league play, and this is after having a 3-month scoreless drought. No assists, no goals for since before the new year until Montpellier. About March 17th, he had 2 assists and a goal. And then ever since then, he's just been scoring consistently, and that does include the 2 goals against Barca. Vitinha is a great pick. Love Vitinha.
Just to add some emphasis to that too, last season 48 appearances across all competitions, 6 goal involvements. In 7 less appearances, he has 14 this season. 9 goals and 5 assists for a midfielder who isn't playing like ridiculously forward. Obviously, in that game with going against 10 men, you're allowed to be a little more expansive and play with more freedom. But 14 goal involvements for like a natural number 8 is pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, a good pick. Jacob, your thoughts?
I like if the first leg is in Dortmund, I like 2-2 draw. Like I think it was Ricardo who said that. Dortmund seemed to play pretty good at home, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat PSG. So I'll definitely give them 2 goals on their home pitch. And then in the second leg, give me a PSG 2-1 victory, making it 4-3 on aggregate. I could pick Mbappe for my X Factor, but that's a little too obvious. So I'm going to pick the real leader of PSG, Marquinhos,
Valid.
who's a beast. Clearly loves the club, plays, just he's the kind of guy who's like throwing his body all over the place. Will do anything to win. Is a real veteran.
The captain.
The kind of guy my club could use.
Relax.
I mean, we might as well, if we losing Thiago Silva, let's just get Walmart Thiago Silva.
I don't know about Walmart, but
Best Buy.
Great. Even better.
Want to step up.
But nonetheless, I just think PSG are a better team than Dortmund. Again, maybe I'm wrong because I've been so wrong. I've been anti-Dortmund the whole year. I said they wouldn't make it out of the group. I said that they had no shot of being Atletico Madrid. I mean, them play. Of course, they got that easy draw. I did pick them in that joke of a draw against PSV, but that's because they played a freaking Dutch team, so that doesn't really count. But nonetheless, I am going to stick with PSG in this situation, and they will be in the final.
All right. I'm also going PSG. Oh man, this is not a good omen. We all have the same final: Real Madrid, PSG.
All right, who wants to switch?
I'm not switching.
I'm
not either.
PSG.
Remember, I had Bayern going to the final too, so I've gone against my final pick. But
Yeah, me too. Because I had Bayern too. So
I had Real losing in
There
this
goes that.
round. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. I didn't predict. I didn't predict that on here. I just told you guys. But
no,
but
but
not saying anything.
get ready for some demolition, folks. 4-1. Yeah, I already know it's gonna be wrong, but we're gonna be different, and it's gonna work. So I just contradicted myself in 5 seconds.
Is that the only reason that you're going 4-1?
Yeah,
I like it.
we're gonna be different. No, but in reality, my boy, future Real Madrid superstar Kylian Mbappe is gonna go off here. I see it being close in Dortmund, but then they're gonna get blitzed in Paris. So goodbye. My X factor was gonna be Vitinha, but I'm actually he's still gonna be my X factor. But keep an eye on Warren Zaire-Emery because he's kind of, I don't know if he's lost favor with Luis Enrique, but he hasn't really seen as much play as early in the year, and he hasn't played as well either. So if he can have 2 good legs against Dortmund, that would help his club favor entering next year post Mbappe. So I expect 2 big matches from Warren Zaire-Emery as well in the midfield.
I believe he scored at Dortmund in match day.
He
6.
did in the Champions League. Yep, the group stage.
That'd be an interesting thing to do twice. Also, big for us because Ricardo's leading in our standings going into the semifinals, which you could put up on the screen, Andrew.
Yeah.
Really tight.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to hope they can get a correct score in this to kind of shift things because
And I hope you don't.
if we all have the same final.
Yeah, for our listeners out there, Ricardo's in first with 13 points. I'm right behind him with 12. Christian at 10 is third, and Jacob is dead last with 9 points.
As he
But
puts his
that's only it's only a 4-point difference right there. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
doesn't help that we all have the same winners. So correct
Someone
scores will be
someone
massive
needs 3
here.
points.
Yep. But I think that's enough Champions League for now. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled. I can't talk. Regularly scheduled programming. And we have big news coming out of Liverpool. Arne Slot from Feyenoord is going to be the next manager of Liverpool after Jurgen Klopp leaves in June. Christian, how do you feel?
Considering the other candidates, I feel good about this. I think I do. To me, and we've talked about this. I know Ricardo's, I think, in the same boat as me. Jacob probably too. De Zerbi, to me, wasn't the right fit. I think it's a step high.
Oh,
Sorry, Andrew. Not really, but
not really.
I just think
Fire.
it's yeah. Come on with a little.
That's the Christian I want to see. Just bring it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. To me, Brighton struggled in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which part?
Come on.
But
What does it matter? The guy doesn't want 1-1 draws.
Oh God, what's happening?
Anyway, please go on.
yes. Brighton, to me, once they got into the knockout stages of the Europa League, I was interested to see how he would navigate that. And it did not go well against Roma. Again, Roma's a very dangerous side under De Rossi, so need to consider that when discussing Brighton falling out that at that point of the tournament. But you're going to have to balance Champions League and the Premier League at Liverpool. And to me, I don't know if De Zerbi is ready to do that for a team that is, expecting big things, even in a coaching change. So De Zerbi wasn't the right one for me. Obviously, once Xavi Alonso was off the books, it was going to be a difficult task for anyone.
Uh-oh.
Andrew, you got something to say?
I just want to say
Go on.
De Zerbi wasn't lucky enough to get Mourinho in the Europa League, because then he probably would have won. But that's a different story.
Christian, go
on. Ruben Amorim, if I'm pronouncing that right, it would have been nice, but you're making a group of players change total different systems, total different style of play. He plays, I think, 3-back. You can use Trent as a wing back. You could probably use Andrew Robertson as a wing back, but
be better off.
Yeah,
Trent would definitely.
Robertson's much better defensively than Trent, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Not a great defender, but certainly better when you pair him up with the other guy on the opposite end. But Slot is a guy who plays attacking football. He speaks English, which I think is a major factor into this.
That is a big. That's an underrated big plus.
Yeah.
Does he speak good English though, or like Maurizio Pochettino English?
If you look him up, on social media, you'll see his team talks, and it's very clear English. It's not something that's hard to interpret, and he has a character and he has emotion to him, which I think that's what Liverpool fans want. They want someone that is passionate and likes to have a certain brand of football. So I think if you put all of that together, he's done some really good things for Feyenoord. He's won, which is also very important, especially in a league that's been dominated by Ajax. Obviously not this year, but Ajax, PSV, there's some giants there, and he's been able to do some things. So obviously it's going to be tough for anyone to replace Jurgen Klopp. That's a given. And I expect next year to be a year of transition. At least to some degree. I don't expect Liverpool to win the league next year. Your goal is to, be competitive in the top 4, do some really good things in the Champions League, potentially win one of the cups. I'm not expecting, the biggest of things because, again, I'd love to see the stats. I would assume it's very difficult for a first-year manager, especially in the Premier League, to win.
Wrong.
Who?
Antonio Conte, Chelsea went from 10th to winning the league, but
he came in at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they were 10th, and the next year they won the friggin' league.
Correct.
Well, and
one guy. That's one guy.
Tuchel, to me, doesn't count because it was halfway through the season.
No, he didn't win the league.
He won the Champions League.
Yeah,
but
that still doesn't count.
It's that, and sure, Jacob's given some examples, and I think that's totally fair, but Pep's still around. Arsenal, assuming they buy a striker, is not going to, what?
I mean, you really...
I'm sick of Christian being too okay. I'm sick of Christian being so calm about
Yeah.
all this.
I was going to
Yeah.
say Christian being okay.
You're not that.
You want to be.
Yeah, I want
down-
you to be pissed off that you lost to friggin' Everton.
Yeah.
I want you to be
Just-
more pissed off that you lost
That's not
to.
the topic.
No, but that's not the point. I'm changing
Well,
the
but
narrative.
I think you're being too complacent is what
You're
Jacob.
too happy-go-lucky. Your expectation every year should be to win the league.
You're saying so next season with a new manager, given that there's probably players that are going to
Unless
leave.
he's a complete moron, I mean, you should be contending for the league.
I said I'm not expecting.
Top 4.
You too.
I'm somewhat with Jacob here.
Okay.
This is Liverpool.
It's Liverpool. Exactly.
I honestly, that's how I feel. I couldn't care less. Sorry.
I'm going to take Christian's side in the sense that we know that this ownership does not like to spend either, but
Thank
when
you.
they do,
Thank you.
They spend wisely. They spend
Bingo.
Okay, but defensively they got to figure that out. Obviously, especially if it's 3 in the back, that's a whole.
That's
it's a
Well, no,
transition.
with Slot, it's going to be the same formation or very similar. 4 back.
No, but I'm saying just defensively, they've been inconsistent the whole season. So that you could look for a replacement there. But I'm just saying,
Van Dijk's overrated.
It's not like
Van Dijk's overrated.
Yes.
That's either a wind up or I don't know what it is.
It is a wind up.
He's a little overrated. He's like a smidge.
No.
How is he overrated?
Because they talk about him among the greats. I don't want to hear that ever again.
The greats, what?
Terry, Ferdinand, Vidic. He couldn't shine their shoes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's
come on,
Jacob. That's a little too. That's too
no, it's not.
In Virgil's prime.
Before
what is he, 80?
Well. I mean, pre-injury, he was
the best,
by far the best center back in the world.
Yeah, he was,
and nobody could get by him.
Yeah,
well, it's not true anymore.
But his legacy,
still very, very good defender.
Yeah.
Let's get that straight. It's his supporting cast that let him down. If anything,
yes, not having a certified number 2 next to him. Kanate gets injured way too often. You know,
I mean,
having someone Matip's missing. I mean,
yeah, like
I don't think that's. I think it's a little harsh. But you can have your own opinion. That's fine.
But going back to the point, I just think it is at least early in the season will be transition.
Yeah, listen.
That's
if
why
we get off to a hot start next season and it's a very similar team, okay. But do you really expect next year with Guardiola still around? You would assume Arsenal's going to get a number 9. You really think Liverpool's going to be in the title race? Really?
We didn't think Liverpool was going to be.
If they have the same team, they should be
and will be is 2 different things.
Let's say that they have pretty much the same team that they have this year. They should be in the title race.
Christian, I'm sorry, you cannot say will be a year out. You cannot.
Jacob's you guys are all getting worked up because I'm saying they aren't going to be in the.
Not getting worked up.
Race.
This is debate. This is sports debate.
Okay, and I'm
not getting worked up. Should be is an absolute. It's 100% correct. They should be in the top 4 of the Premier League next season.
Minimum.
I agree.
That I agree.
Should be
top 4, fine. Yeah,
I should be. Which therefore should mean that they are in contention in a title race. Therefore, should. Now you could have a complete blowout at the top. Who knows? That's true. That's fair. But theoretically, if you're in the top 4, you should be in contention.
Well, Spurs and Villa aren't exactly in.
Thank you.
I mean, there's Spurs and Villa. I mean,
doesn't matter. It's still top 4 they're fighting for. That doesn't mean they're contention.
But no one expected them to compete for the title.
That's what I'm saying.
Liverpool could just be 4th. They could be like next year's Spurs. I don't know.
No, they're not.
Do you remember
wait. What? Are you saying? Wait. What'd you say about next year's Spurs? Who? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that as an example. I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Let me get this straight. So now we're going to relegate Liverpool to the standard of Tottenham.
Okay, the point of that was more of an inconsistency sort of thing, but that's also because it's Big Enge's first season too.
Yeah, but the point.
No, I know.
Did Big Enge inherit what Slot is inheriting at Liverpool? The answer is no. So I don't know why. I mean, it's not even close.
Don't forget, Big Enge lost Harry Kane.
Yeah. Big
gonna-
Ange
we're
has
gonna-
an
we're
owner
gonna lose
who
Salah, by
really
the way.
doesn't want to spend
So,
money.
Salah's
You know what I
gone.
mean? Why
I
are you
really
so
believe
sure of
that.
that?
Why?
I mean,
Why
I
would
don't know.
they? There, he's 32. He's lost
Okay.
a step in the back half of the season. Why would you pass up, let's say, 80 to 90 million from Saudi?
I don't know. I thought he cared a little.
Especially with
I
this
thought he cared a
ownership.
little about his legacy. I don't know. I mean, he's not like washed. I know you think he's lost step.
So-
He's still really
so
good.
You have two ways of looking at this. Either you sell him this summer, or he's out of contract after next season, so you can let him walk for free.
I don't know why you don't want to extend him, to be honest with you. But
I'm not saying from my point of view. I'm saying I believe he's going to leave because he's 32, going to be on to 33, and Liverpool's not going to want to lose him free. Not with this ownership.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I don't think they're going to go 2 summers in a row letting him stick around.
I
And he
also
has-
think Salah is the type of player that I think FSG would go out of their way to re-sign, which is crazy to say, considering it is Fenway Sports Group and they don't re-sign any of their players across all their teams. But I think Salah means that much to Liverpool. And I think I agree with Jacob. I think he understands the history of Liverpool. He gets the club culture. I don't think he's a mercenary like, let's say, a Neymar who would just go, to Saudi because he's just looking for the most money possible. He's not
and wanted to get out of PSG, which is
Right.
which much more understandable than wanting to leave
Right.
Liverpool.
Salah isn't a mercenary. He's not like that.
So
Also, do you think Liverpool are gonna let them lose one of their best managers of recent memory and then lose their best player of the last 7 years in back-to-back, just like that?
I mean, it's not that uncommon for big players to leave after their. I mean, he's the best manager in such a long time. For
No,
them.
but my point is that that would be 2 seismic changes to a club, and I just don't know if the club
It's
would
happened
want
before. It's not like it's not an inevitable. It's not something that is so out of the ordinary.
I don't know. I just think that if I think that they should try and keep intact what they have as much as humanly possible. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. I mean, where are you getting a better Salah replacement?
I'm not saying you're going to, but
Rodrigo, just kidding.
it's again, you have to remember who the ownership is and the way they operate.
Fair enough. Yeah.
They cannot. We're not a club like City who can just let someone walk for free. We don't have the funds to do that. That's not realistic. So I don't remember what they passed up on in the summer. It was obviously over 100 million, but I don't expect that fee to come in again. I expect something more in the range of 75 to 80 million. And if you're asking me, not what I want, but what I think they will not pass it up again.
All right. I mean, I don't know. We've gone on a while with this, so
Went off the rails there.
No, but it was a good conversation. Good conversation.
Can I just say one thing though? That the way this all unfolded was just like the matter of like a week, less than a week. It feels like just how rapidly it.
I mean, he at least said, "I want the Liverpool."
See, but that's what I was also going to say. Has a
Way to
manager
shoot your shot? I mean,
has a manager openly expressed their interest in joining a club while they're still at another? You know what I mean?
It's like infidelity. I mean,
yeah, kind of.
It's like you're flirting.
You're with this one girl and you're flirting with another. Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Oh, Arne, whatever the hell your name is.
Arne.
I don't know. Just that to me is the most
Arne and Ange. Oh.
And also the most expensive Dutch manager, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, they had to pay, I think it was 9 million euros to get him.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there were definitely some managers that are a little hesitant because you're replacing a club legend. Not saying any of the ones that were, the key favorites, but it's not I'm not expecting like Manchester United trouble in terms of how long it's taken them to really rediscover themselves, and they still haven't.
No.
And I know we talked about this in the group chat this week. The difference between Eric Ten Hag and Slot coming in. There's so much better structure at Liverpool.
Yeah,
It's night and day. I think Liverpool will give Slot time to find his form and kind of put his stamp on this team. So, I'm not worried about them making a quick decision whether or not, next season goes however it does. I think there's going to be a lot of patience from a Liverpool perspective for Slot.
Yeah.
All right. Enough Liverpool. Let's have some fun. Xavi. My goodness. So Luis Enrique wished him the best and said, "I hope you stay at Barca. I hope you stay at Barca." And by the way, the red card did not play a factor in our win against you today. And Xavi responded by saying, quote, "I say no to both." 1 week later. Xavi announces, after a long conversation with Joan Laporte, which Fab tweeted the heck out of. Every hour was a Xavi update. Xavi doesn't think he is going to stay after a long meeting of Joan Laporte. Xavi maybe going to stay. Hour later, Xavi now officially staying at Barcelona. After a long meeting with Joan Laporte in the Barca brass. Oh my God. Well, thank you for staying, Xavi, because that ensures the future of this podcast. We'll always have something fun to talk about with your antics on the pitch, your screaming, your whining, your excuses for why Barca will lose a big match. You'll still get a few league titles here and there, sure. Perhaps.
No, he won't.
I mean, he could. Doesn't discount the fact he's a fraud. So, Xavi, I wish you the best. Ricardo.
What I mean, it'd be funny if Tuchel did the same exact thing.
That'd be great.
He's like, just kidding, guys, I'm staying.
What
was the point in saying that at the beginning? Like, why? Like, just for you to motivate your players? Was that you have to go that far to get your players to like fight for you? Like, I don't know. That's just a conspiracy.
You're a club legend. You shouldn't need to do this.
No, it's so weird. Like, listen, I'm not complaining, but I'm just like the way it all unfolded again over the course of the last 2 months since whenever he announced it. It's just like, yeah, they've been fighting for him. And it's just like he's like praising, like, no, I keep shooting this down. And then finally he cracked. And was like, yeah, I lied. Just kidding, guys. I'm staying. I wonder how the players feel about that. I'm sure there's some who don't like him that much. I mean, there are always those players that exist, but I don't know.
I think the younger players like him.
I genuinely feel like they do fight for him.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think the younger players like him. I'm not sure about and Rafinha. Rafinha loves him. But I'm not sure if Lewandowski is too crazy about him. I'm not sure.
Lewandowski, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know how Frankie de Jong feels about him. But
I think that's more of a board problem than a Xavi problem. The Frankie de Jong thing.
I think it probably sure, but it still will translate to their play. It's a whole mental thing. But it's like we're watching Days of Our Lives. It's a giant soap opera of Xavi at Barca this year, and it's been very entertaining.
What was I gonna say? Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, like the amount of Barca fans are like friends of, or like people I like know who are like.
It's like we're watching Friends.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's just I find it so fascinating that obviously he's a club legend. I get that part, but it's like this season, no trophies. Like, I don't know. Don't you expect more, better? Like you as a club are content with keeping a guy who has won. I sure he won what 2 trophies a season ago.
Yeah.
So I guess they
We're
have
only a
that.
season removed from that. It's not like
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah.
think we need to. It's like
Yeah.
the idea that like he's like like a bad manager. I mean, I understand the standard, and I'm not trying to diminish the standard, but it's like let's calm down a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that their team is good enough to win La Liga. I just don't. It's Real Madrid's squad is so much better. If you were making a combined 11, I don't know how many Barcelona players you'd put in the 11. Very few. But the problem is that they have all these money problems. So they can't spend money. I mean, they did get Gundogan, which I thought was a good move, and I think has worked out for them. But they need a lot more. They need just a lot more. Lewandowski's getting old. They need a real number 9. It damn sure ain't João Felix. I can promise you that.
I don't think he stays either way. I don't think they can financially pull it off.
He'll go to another. He'll be loaned out somewhere else and make another club miserable.
Well, mercenary.
Well, that's what he is. But
João Felix right now. I'm sorry, Jacob. João Felix right now feels like that one NBA player who's of a different team every year on a title contender.
I'm trying to think of.
He's like it's like an Eric Gordon or like
he's almost like Will Smith, the relief pitcher without the winning.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
He just gets passed around. I mean,
he won La Liga once.
Oh, that's you'll have.
That was a while ago.
No, not really.
It feels like a while ago.
What was it? 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Yeah.
It feels like a forever ago.
Yeah,
kind of does. Yeah.
They were operating with
That was
Luis
a funny
Suarez and
lucky
João
team.
Felix.
That was hilarious.
Kieran Trippier was on that team too. Don't forget.
Yeah. That's
But anyway, my thing with Xavi is that I genuinely think he's a good manager. I think he's the right guy for Barcelona. The problem with Xavi is that he's his own worst enemy. It's almost like he has like the devil in his head. You ever see those movies where it's like the good voice and the bad voice? The bad voice in Xavi dominates his head. That's the problem. He picks so many stupid fights with the refs and the media. I'm like just stop doing it. It's like how Kevin Durant spends too much time on social media talking to random people. Stop. It's not helping. Because his tactics are relatively good. I think he gets a lot out of players. I think he gets a lot out of young players, honestly. I think he probably seems like a guy who can motivate them through almost like the the intimidation. That almost seems like that's how he motivates people, and it works. And I don't think Barcelona are going to get a better manager that really fits their club. And I mean, I understand that the standard is very big, and if you don't win the La Liga every year, it's considered a failure. But Real Madrid are a buzzsaw right now. The Barcelona need a lot to make this team better. And I think they need 1-2 windows to where they can actually sign players where they can compete. They just need to find they just need to get some organizational structure.
I think the biggest thing that's let Xavi down is the emotions getting to him. To me, Jacob, I think you're right. He is tactically smart. I think he just loses his head way too often, and to me, that's not at the level of a Barcelona manager. I like emotion. I've had a manager for the last handful of years who has it, but you have to channel it. He gets sent. How many times he's gotten sent off so many times, and he's been forced to be suspended for matches. I mean, it's just not. That to me is what frustrates probably Barca fans the most. Now he's a club legend. He did so much as a player, and he obviously won them a league title last season. But
and the Supercopa,
I think right. So he's won as a manager. So tactically, there's obviously things he does well, but in order for him to, especially, have consistent winning and bring in the right players, I think he needs to be better emotionally on the pitch. He needs to, have a little more calmness to him. In moments, obviously, you can bring the energy and bring the fire, but I think you can't be getting sent off every month. It's just not. It's not good for him a manager's point of view. That to me is the thing that I look at moving forward. If he's going to remain, obviously that's now the case. I think he needs to work on that in order for him to take it to the next level.
Yeah, Xavi, really do. I wish you the best of luck, brother. You're gonna need it.
No, you don't.
He's gonna need it. Like I said, he's gonna have to get ready to face the next Madrid dynasty of Kylian Mbappe. So get ready. Moving on. Our boy Serginho Dest, unfortunately suffering a knee injury during training with PSV. And he's going to be out for a long time. I was reading maybe 8 months, right?
8-9 months. That's what I saw too.
PSV's first match after this announcement, they scored 8 goals, which is Serginho's number, PSV. And his American teammate, Malik Tillman, had 2 assists and a goal. So good performance from PSV in tribute to a player who, I mean, I think has done a lot of maturing at PSV this season. It seems like teammates really like him there. They stand for him. I mean, obviously, it's this last performance. But the bigger story out of this is Serginho Dest is unfortunately going to miss Copa America with the U.S. And the U.S. is going to have to find a way, whether it's Joe Scally or maybe even moving Tyler Adams to his spot. Need to find a way to replace Serginho Dest. So whoever wants to take the floor, how do you think this will impact the U.S.?
I have another idea, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. It's something that definitely has been discussed at work this week, so we'll see what you guys think. Timothy Weah to right back.
Yeah.
Obviously playing a little deeper for Juventus. Not playing a lot, but when he has played, it's at right wing back. You play Christian Pulisic at right mid, where he's played primarily for Milan. And then you maybe the most red-hot player for the American team playing over in Europe, Haji Wright, you move him into the starting lineup at left. It's a possibility.
Yep.
I tend to agree with that. I think you need to find a way to get Haji Wright into a position of comfortability. And I mean, based off performances right now, both for club and country, I think he deserves to be in the starting lineup for that first game in Copa America. I think the other option, of course, is Joe Scally. Doing well for Gladbach, but we all discussed this after the first game in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinal wasn't good enough, and he had to get taken off halfway through the match. So, you know, you could give a game to Joe Scally to start things off and see how he performs. But again, I think the margin for error in the Copa America first game, especially, very slim. I think you need to set the tone as the host. So for me, I would go with Weah playing from a deeper position to find Haji Wright into the starting lineup.
That's definitely intriguing. I didn't think about that, actually, the Weah at right
and he
back.
he plays a fullback at Lille, both left back and right back.
That is also true.
So it's not a position he's never played before. But again, you know, he's done well in moments. He needs a little more goal involvement. I know Jacob mentioned that as some criticism coming out of the Nations League, but you know, he could definitely be used as an attacking right back. He has the speed, the pace, the ability to cross balls in. I think it's a position that they should look at least in the short term, not in the long term.
Right. I mean, I genuinely wonder who would start like first game. Because like we said, Joe Scally didn't exactly do very well.
Oh, I have a solution.
What's that?
I don't know where he's going.
You bring back a man who has worn.
Oh no, I know what's going to be.
Oh,
DeAndre Yedlin.
Oh, God.
I don't want to watch Joe Scally. You don't want to watch Joe Scally. We just talked about how he stinks. Let's bring back DeAndre Yedlin.
No.
Why not?
Because there's far better options other than Joe Scally that you can put there. I mean,
imagine Jacob said Shaq Moore.
I don't
Oh,
know. Who
God.
that- I don't know who that. I don't
God.
know who that is.
the worst player ever on the World Cup roster, Shaq Moore. I would lean Tyler Adams to put Johnny
What
at
if,
the
what if
6th.
he's hurt?
Well, then I would probably go
What
way up.
if you mean when? Or no, I'm sorry, but
Oh God, please. No.
I mean, he's been a little dinged up recently too. But I would prefer Weah. That's a good point, Christian. I would prefer Weah over Joe Scally, just for the fact, like you said, you could play Haji right up top as the right winger. Plus, I think Weah, he does provide some valuable crosses, but going forward, I don't think he's really the best. I at Lille, I thought I know he complained about playing a fullback position, but I think that is genuinely his best position, or as a wingback, like he's playing right now at Juve. So I mean, right back way, I would be down for that. I'd be down for that. Start Haji right in his spot, but yeah, I'm so down on Joe Scally right now. From Copa or from the Nations League. So it's let's see some other options. If we have to play Scally, have him on the roster. Absolutely. Don't take him off the roster.
And he's done well for Gladbach. He
no, you gotta give him his due, but I just wouldn't start him right away if you don't need to.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's enough of that. So moving on, and we'll talk more U.S. as we approach Copa America too. So it won't be the last of that. We just had a weird situation in the Prem with Nottingham Forest, who who put out this hilarious. I mean, I felt bad for Forest, but the statement saying that they had a public statement about how the refs missed 3 penalties in their match against Everton. And then it was revealed that the VAR official is a Luton Town fan. Not making this up. Talk about days of our lives. This is a soap opera right now. So, boys, I mean, the Forest is playing Luton this weekend. They officially revealed that David Coote, I think that's how you pronounce it, David Coote, is the referee for this match. He's a Notts County supporter. So maybe there won't. Maybe
Forest Luton this weekend. I thought Forest said City at the weekend, Sunday.
Let me double check.
Maybe it's the following weekend.
I think it's next week, yeah, but
I might be wrong. Nottingham Forest. I know they're playing them soon.
That's a huge match.
Come on. It's Nottingham Forest schedule. It's not giving me their schedule. Okay, you're right. When did they play? Oh, I guess the article I was reading was wrong about it.
They don't play each other.
They play. Yeah, no. Okay, well, forget all that. What was this about? Oh, I misread. The City Forest official is this David Coote guy. He was a Notts County supporter. But hopefully they don't have this drama again, is the main point. What do we think of this whole situation? I thought it was one of the funniest things you could put out on social media. I get the rightful complaint, but it just seemed a little weak putting it out there on Twitter. I don't know what you guys think about that.
So I don't know how many of you have seen. I know Jacob said he had not seen the penalty shouts. There was 3 of them. Two of them to me were probably pens. The first one was on Gio Reyna. It was kind of if it was called on the field, probably not going to be overturned. But because it wasn't given, very difficult to overturn through VAR. But I know there was some reports going both ways, whether or not Nottingham Forest had complained prior to the match about a Luton Town being on VAR. I think I saw something from Sky that said that they did not. That was a false report. But either way, really, like it's weak. I think that's well said, Andrew. This is just I don't know how it opens too many doors for me. So is every team going to complain when VAR decisions are given against them and find out that a referee is a fan of a team that's fighting relegation as well or competing for the top 4? I just think it opens way too many doors, and Forest did something that shouldn't have been done. I get being frustrated with the referee. We've seen VAR decisions hurt virtually every club in the league this season, some more than others. But I just think that was really foolish of them. And I think there were much better ways to handle that. You could have done it behind closed doors. Obviously, you wanted an outrage. I think there was a
they
motivation.
wanted to embarrass the ref. That's what
Right.
they wanted to do. They wanted to basically slander him through the mud.
Yeah.
Every way possible. That's what they wanted. I mean, they wanted basically a hit piece on him, and that's what they got.
And I think if people were rooting for Nottingham Forest to go down in the hopes that Luton Town, kind of those, the team that neutrals want to see go through and remain in the Premier League. I mean, now the gap is even lengthened, I think, in terms of who people want to stay up and who they want relegated. It puts a bullet on their back now going for the final stretch of the season to me. I think Luton Town is not in good form. I don't think Forest is in good form either, but Forest did a lot of bad things for them from the Premier League fans as a whole.
And here's my thing too. Forest is complaining about corruption. Don't complain about corruption when you're in the middle of a relegation battle.
And you're in trouble for points being deducted.
Exactly. They're already
financial trouble. Yes.
The FA is already on their toes, or I should say, Forest is already on their toes from the FA's point deduction talk, and now they're going out to say this. It's not the right optics. I feel bad for the supporters. Even though a lot of them agree with this, they got to understand you just can't say this in public like this. You can't. You know, it reminds, if we're going to compare it to an American thing, an American sport, Ricardo, you might want to, close your ears, put some earplugs or something. Joel Embiid complaining about these
this is a good way to get wound up for my rant of the week. I will say that.
Joel Embiid's complaints about everything. The Sixers filing grievances to the NBA about poor officiating in a playoff game at Madison Square Garden in the final minute of the game. It looks weak. It just looks weak, and it's the same thing here. So I don't like it for Forest, and neither did I like it for the Sixers. Now they did get a get back game from the referees, so maybe it did work out for them.
All right,
but it's not going to happen to Forest. It's not going to happen.
When I first saw this happen, I didn't watch the game, but I saw that statement and I was like, what even happened? Then I went to go watch the highlights on NBC Sports Soccer or whatever, and then none of the decisions are there. They're all, I'm like, I don't know. That to me was a strange case. And then I looked, and some of the pundits, I don't know, they're just kind of very torn on that whole situation. It's just, I mean, we could go on and on about officiating, but that's not going to change anything really. But
well, here's the deal: officiating's always been a problem.
Exactly.
It's not like Forest are acting like they're the only team that have had this issue.
Yeah, exactly. Real have had it.
And another thing, if it's not clear cut, like unanimous, if it's not like, holy God, even a blind guy would somehow see it through his lack of vision, then they need to calm down.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I mean, what a waste of time. What a joke. I mean, really? Like, no one cares. I mean, this is a great way to get attention. Oh my God. Because God knows how else was anyone going to pay attention to freaking Nottingham Forest?
Ariel Helwani. He loves Forest.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyways, Jacob, you just said calm down. I don't think we're gonna calm you down this week.
No more calming down.
Oh, I thought you were saying one more thing for Forest. That's why I switched off real quick.
The floor is his.
All right, Jacob. Go off.
Get your popcorn.
You know, they went on a run where they were unbeaten for 8 games, and they hadn't lost since that pathetic Carabao Cup final against freaking Liverpool. By the way, a couple of those draws included a draw to freaking Sheffield and Burnley. There's two worst
Burnley
teams.
was down to 10 men.
Oh, thank you for reminding. And they lost their manager, which I actually think benefited them, but that's another story. This weekend, we had a chance to beat Man City. They were wounded. They were distraught. They didn't have Erling Haaland. Pep was whining. Oh my God, I couldn't take it after the game. All he did was friggin' complain. I'm sorry you had to go on a jet with birds in it, and you only had a few days because you lost to Real Madrid. And weren't they home in the second leg?
Yep.
Oh, they were home. They didn't even have to travel. And he's bitching nonstop because he has to play the mighty old Chelsea. This isn't Chelsea when they only give up 15 goals in a season. And by the way, do you know they've given up 57 goals with 6 games to go? That's the most they've ever given up in a Premier League season. And we have 6 games to go. The FA Cup semifinal, I don't remember much from it because it wasn't a lot going on. But God, when Nicholas Jackson is bad, oh my God. Oh wait, Nicholas Jackson has a 1-on-1. All he has to do is shoot the damn ball and not directly at the goalkeeper. And what does he do? He tries to get cute. He dribbles around, and again there was Ortega. It wasn't even Ederson. It was Ortega, who's good for a backup, but nonetheless. And instead, he dribbles around, he gets nothing, and then he delivers an awful pass to no one there. But this is what really has me riled up, where the game was stolen. There's a free kick. Jack Grealish jumps in the air, his hand comes down, and the ball hits his hand. It's somehow not a penalty. If that's not a penalty or that's not handball, God, tell me what is. And the worst part was that bastard was smiling. You know why he smiled? Because he knew he got away with it. And again, figure out handball. How is it not handball when his arm is moving down as the ball comes there? Explain that to me. But it is handball when Axel Disasi goes for a header. It goes off his arm incidentally because he definitely intended to use his arm to score a goal. But that's a handball. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And what is it handball or arm ball? Well, I mean, if it goes off your shoulder, it's a handball. I mean, how is that possible? I don't understand this. It's such a joke. And then they followed it up with, I think, their worst performance. This is hard for me to say because there have been so many. But this is probably the worst performance of the season. I don't know if Christian watched the game or you, Ricardo, watched that game. Chelsea literally could not complete a pass. The amount of times they gave the ball away to Arsenal, if I had $1 for every time, I would have had 100. Every time they gave the friggin' ball away. And because they couldn't pass the ball, I had to watch Axel Disasi and Benoit Badiashile pass the ball to each other, but they're playing friggin' ping pong. I mean, and now I hear, Enzo Fernandez is done for the season because he has a hernia surgery. Number one, if he's hurt, why is he playing? He's not good, not injured. You think he's going to get better playing hurt?
Well, who are you going to play in place of him?
Carney's healthy for now. He's healthy until he'll get hurt again. He's healthy. Play him, please. Play Cole Palmer at the 10. You did against Everton. He scored 4 goals. Instead, I have to watch Noni. I never, ever, ever want to pass the ball, Madueke. Just dribble in circles. I have never seen anyone that doesn't want to pass the ball less than that, man. Holy mother of God. And Nicholas Jackson, did you see the header he tried to take? Where it almost looked like he caught a pop-up and he couldn't, like, his shoulders are, it's like he was like a T-Rex. Use your head to head the ball. Why is that so hard? What? Who signs a striker from Villarreal? I mean, think about this with these Chelsea signings. Think about where they're signing all these players from. Villarreal, Benfica, Brighton, Monaco, the New England Revolution, Shakhtar. Did I say Shakhtar? All these Mickey Mouse clubs. And then they wonder why it isn't working. I don't know. Maybe if you just sign a bunch of young kids and throw them to the wolves, they're probably not going to figure it out. And of course, I have to think about the fact that my club, and then of course I have to watch Kai Havertz score 2 goals. I mean, can it get any worse? I mean,
Probably.
They sold Jorginho away. Jorginho, a guy who was instrumental to them winning the Champions League. And and when they were still good, one of their leaders, a really solid midfielder, they sold him away to their arch rival for 12 million. That's it. And you can't tell me that Enzo Fernandez is better than Jorginho. You can't. And he cost 88. Or no, he cost over 100. And when I read why Jorginho is gone, and he said I wasn't in their plans. Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Conor Gallagher. The 3 Stooges.
So they could be 3 or 4 on the pod. They're the Stooges.
I mean, Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are so bad that I actually think Conor Gallagher's good. That's how bad they are.
Going to the Euros.
What?
He's going to the Euros.
Doesn't mean he deserves to be. That's another story. And again, it just, and you know what also drove me nuts? They're already down 4-0. So what does Pochettino do? He takes Fernandez out and he brings on a defender. And they still concede a goal. I have never seen
Against
so
ready for
many
the season to be over.
individuals not know what they're doing ever. And I am Mark Cucurella. I want to rip his damn hair off every time he plays for my club because he is awful.
Well, you have
Every time he's throwing his hair, I've never seen anyone beg to get sent off of a game more. Every time he's committing these stupid fouls.
I can think
every
of
time.
someone. Xavi.
Oh, well, him, I mean, Moises Caicedo. Nope. Moises Caicedo, I think the thing that he does best is commit fouls right outside the box because he loves doing that. He doesn't want the ball. It's like hot potato when he gets the friggin' ball. I'm convinced he'd be better off playing center back because that way he doesn't need the ball that much. Because, I mean, and even when they do something right, they can't complete it. Like, for example, this team I have never seen a team take so many awful corners in one season. Awful at set pieces. And the one time Mudryk gives us a good corner, Disasi misses it. I mean, Arsenal didn't even play that great in the first half. They missed it. They wouldn't want to shoot the ball. And then in the second half, they come out like it's 0-4 again. I mean, and as much as I think this manager has no idea what he's doing, I don't want him fired. You know why? Because if they fire him, they're going to bring another guy in who's going to be dealt with the same cards, and it's not going to work. And by the way, Thiago Silva's leaving just to make everything worse. He's leaving. They don't want real leaders at the club. They want to get rid of anyone that's older than freaking 25 at this team. And I swear,
Thiago Silva is way older than 25.
No, but the point is that they have no freaking leadership. They have none. None. I mean, if Todd Bowley cares about Chelsea, why don't he do a history lesson and look back at when Chelsea won titles and understand why they won titles? Because they had strong leaders. They don't have that anymore. And Todd Bowley is an owner of the Dodgers, or one of them. The Dodgers don't have a bunch of 23-year-olds just running around playing baseball. If he wants to ingratiate American ideas so badly into European soccer, Todd, please tell me, where the hell, who made you think this was a good idea? Because it's clearly not working. I'm at the point where if we make the Europa League, I'm ecstatic. If I said that 3 years ago, I would have thought I needed my head examined. Anyway, that's enough.
Let's do some bets.
Let's do that.
Andrew's back. He's a super sub.
My internet went out for a few minutes, and I had to do the good old reset, unplug the router, all that, the modem. But I came back just in time to hear the end of Jacob's great rant. So good job, Jacob. I'm sure the parts I missed were just as exciting. But let's continue the Jacob hot streak and go with Jacob's first bet, or Jacob as the first bet. Phil Foden, anytime goal scorer. How about that, Jacob?
I swear, if Pep sits him, I'm going to be very angry. I'll leave it at that.
Plus 120, $20 to win.
They're playing Nottingham Forest, who suck. So if Phil's in the game, I think he'll have a very good chance of scoring. So hence the bet.
Hey, maybe Phil Foden will draw a penalty, and they will get a call back from last weekend.
Maybe it'll be a handball where the guy's flailing his arm towards the ball. Who knows? Maybe that will get called.
Oh God. Well, at least the referee's a Notts County supporter. My best bet. I'm going Fulham and Palace to draw. I love these draw bets. They're so exciting. I have it at plus 250. $20 to win 50. I've won a draw. I won a draw a few weeks ago. We're going back to the good energy here. So we're doing that. Christian, you're next. What do you got?
Going with Serie A. We're going to go Lazio at home to beat Hellas Verona. Lazio got a win midweek in the Coppa Italia against Juventus, but didn't go through. Tati Castellanos with a couple goals. Shout out to NYCFC there. Bologna, obviously the big story in Italy this season, having a great season. Recently beat Roma away from home. Fight for top 4. They're going to beat Udinese at home. And we're wrapping up with Fiorentina. Our Serie A correspondent might be at the game, maybe not. Dan Alvac, shout out. Fiorentina to beat Sassuolo. Obviously, Sassuolo is likely to be relegated at this point. And Fiorentina are fighting for a European place. So I'm taking 3 teams with a lot to play for to win at home. 25 to win 76, 56 at plus 306 on FanDuel.
Dan becoming a Fiorentina supporter is one of the best things that happened this last year. They talk about generational. Ricardo, you're next.
All right, we got a 3-legger. I mean, Leverkusen money line because you know what? They never lose. That's pretty straightforward. Inter, I forget who they're playing.
Does it matter? It doesn't matter.
It's Torino.
It doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Torino, yes.
Torino at home after winning the Scudetto. It's going to be a party there.
You know, this could be a potential letdown, but I'm going to just stick with them continuing. You know, the more I think about this bet, the more I don't like it.
Well,
and then United at home, they are hosting Burnley, correct? Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Watch this blow up in their face, too.
Caution, everyone.
Hey, they're going to be
unlike Chelsea, they'll beat both of these. They'll beat Sheffield.
No, they won't. They're going to be
they will. They'll find a way.
They almost lost to Coventry. They can lose.
I know. I saw it.
So, yeah, plus 267, 20 to win, 53-48. I don't feel confident anymore.
I love the progression. There was a whole
more like the regression of his.
Yeah, I was gonna say regression.
Leverkusen, you're feeling great. You're feeling great. Inter, Man U. That was fun. I like that bet. That's a good parlay right there. That's probably gonna hit.
That's a winning bet right there.
That's probably gonna hit now. But anyways, boys, fun episode. Thanks for coming along. Everyone, please keep an eye on our social media pages. If you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, please feel free to let us know in the comments. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're on there. We're everywhere. And we appreciate all your support. This has been a lot of fun to do. We're going to keep going. Anything else to talk about before we sign off? I guess not.
Nope.
Wow. We got the emphatic nope from Jacob. Good pop.
I've said enough.
I mean, you didn't need to say that, but it's okay. All right, everyone. Have a good night.